Welcome, everyone. My name's Christopher Cata, and I'll be your host for this evening's webinar. We're very blessed to have Linda Ind from Chats with us this evening to talk to us all about community and home assistance to seniors, specifically around falls prevention. And I think you're going to enjoy the presentation that Linda has for us today. If you do have any questions for Linda, there is a Q&A feature within Zoom, and you can actually type your questions in there. And at the end of Linda's presentation, we'll go through each of those in sequence and give Linda an opportunity to answer those questions for you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Linda, and she'll take us through the presentation.
Great. Well, thank you for that, Chris. And thank you to Caregiving Matters for inviting me to do this presentation. It is November, winter's right around the corner, and it's actually Falls Prevention Month. So it's a perfect time to get this information out there. So as you can see, I put the little polar bear there. You got to watch now, even today, even with the leaves are out, they're falling, and they're very slippery if you're going out for a walk. So I'm going to do a little bit of statistics for you to start. Falls are common and a threat to independence. 20 to 30% of older adults fall every year. 81% of hospitalized injuries are due to falls. 51% of all injury-related hospitalizations were over the age of 65. 37% of those hospitalizations were male, 63 were female. And falls are the reason for 95% of hip fractures. So we need to start being careful. We're going to learn some really cool tips and tricks how not to fall today. And just as far as healthcare goes, $2 billion a year healthcare costs alone. So that's pretty huge. A typical scenario is an 82-year-old female, most likely lives alone, has a daughter or a son close by, still working. Could have COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, in case you weren't knowing that, diabetes, poor mobility due to diabetic neuropathy, and an overactive bladder, which is quite common in people over 65, and a furniture walker. And many people ask me what a furniture walker is, and basically it's as it looks, they walk around holding on to the furniture. But sometimes people that are diabetic, they might have less feeling in their fingertips or less feeling in their feet, and they're walking along the furniture and the furniture ends and then they fall because they don't feel the end of the table. So they have to be particularly careful. So the fear of falling actually causes unsafe behavior. There is a cycle. A patient experiences the fall, then they're afraid to fall again, so they reduce their activity level, which reduces their energy, their strength, and their balance, and increases the risk of falling. So it's a vicious circle that we all go through. Most people are afraid of falling, even if they've never fallen. It's just something that's there, and we need to learn what to do about it and how we can keep ourselves safe and out of that hospital, especially these days. 60% of older adults who have fallen will fall again. So the fear of falling is a serious risk. It often leads to reduced activity, as I said, which makes the risk even higher because you're not doing anything. So you're not going out, you're not using your muscles, you're just kind of afraid to go anywhere, right? So we need to start building up our muscles to make sure and to try and reduce that fear. 50% of people that have the fear cannot get up on their own. And you are going to learn today how to get up from a fall, because many times people can't get up on their own. And if you live alone, there's no one there to get you up. So that can make things more serious and you could end up in the hospital. 40% of older adults who have not fallen report that they're anxious about falling. So you're going to see a lot of risk factors in here, and a lot of them are going to be repetitive because I want to make sure that everyone is thinking as we go along. And when you leave this presentation, you have a few things in your mind that you can pay attention to afterwards. So the greatest risk to your quality of life and independence. Imagine having a fall. I was giving someone an example this morning. I'm just off a broken foot. So because of COVID, I was able to work at home for 6 weeks because my job is working at home now. I can't go out and do presentations and speaking engagements. And then I thought about it. Well, guess what? Those 6 weeks, I would have lost income because if it wasn't COVID, I wouldn't be able to go out and work. So that's something to think about. What are the repercussions if you fall or after you fall? So here's a few things that are going to help. Not inappropriate footwear. Check the bottom of your shoes and boots. It's that time of the year to get your boots out, have a look, make sure that they're in good shape. If not, you might want to look at getting a new pair if you can. Chronic conditions, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, COPD, vision problems. Pain. People in pain are twice as likely to fall, and pain does increase as we age. Poor lighting in your home, outside of your home, not being properly balanced. Nutrition, don't skip meals. People that are diabetic, you have to be careful that you have those 6 small meals a day and maybe snacks in between. People with low blood pressure, if their blood pressure gets really low and they get hungry, which we call hangry because they're skipping a meal, they're at a higher risk of falling. So here's some of the injuries. I could only get up to 2010 Stats Canada. 35% is a break or a fracture of a bone. 30% is a sprain or a strain. And then the rest, 19% scrapes or bruises or blisters. But in that 19%, when you think about that, if you're taking a blood thinner, like a warfarin or any other kind of blood thinner, your skin is already thin enough. You don't want to fall and tear that skin. A sprain and a strain, more likely to do it a second time because they never really heal 100%. And then breaking a bone, like my poor broken foot. We don't want to do that, trust me. So a lot of caregivers now, I put this slide in too because caregivers are at home now. A lot of people that used to go to day programs and different outings, everyone seems to be staying at home. Nothing's going on right now. They're just starting to get things going. So there's a significant increase in the caregiver burden with increased support needs. The fear of falling and depression often follows the first fall. 1 in 5 caregivers report a high level of physical strain as a result of the support they provide, which also puts them at risk. And one of the things that we try to do, we work with a lot of caregivers, is to make sure that they're taking care of themselves and their own health, and especially their physical health, because they can't be a good caregiver unless they're caring for themselves. And we don't want them injured because then the person they're caring for isn't going to have anyone there, or they'll have to pay for care to come in. The stress levels are increased, potentially impacting the relationship between the caregiver and the care recipient. So what do you do if someone falls and you're a caregiver and you're age 65 or 70, 80, 90 years old? Do not pick them up. Do not try to catch them. If you're there when someone's falling, gently let them fall down your body. Brace yourself and let them fall down your body, but please don't try to pick them up or help them or stop them. If there's a way that you can protect their head, that's the best thing that you can do for them. If somebody's not able to get up on their own and they have only minor support, call 911. A lot of people don't realize that you can call 911 and ask for a lift assist, and they will send somebody over to pick that person up off the floor. They don't have to go to the hospital. They can, as long as they're not severely injured, if they sign to not go to the hospital, there's no charge for the ambulance. It's just an assist. So please use the assist so that you don't hurt yourselves. Lots of risk factors. As I said, inappropriate footwear, different diseases, lighting, pain, poor balance, skipping meals. Older adults want to stay in control and often will accept their need for added support after a fall, not before a fall. The risk of falling is high, especially if they exhibit primary risk factors. 40% of nursing home admissions are due to falls. And I don't know anybody that has going to a nursing home on their bucket list. Trust me, you don't want to fall and end up living in a nursing home unless it's temporary. 50% of falls happen at home. We're going to talk a lot about risk factors at home and understanding what's going on to prevent your falls. So here's a list of risk factors. Normally when I'm in person, I have these big blocks and I wiggle them around and show you how unbalanced that you can get. So the first one is balance problems. We need to keep ourselves balanced. When you go to the grocery store, ask the lady, can you please give me 2 bags? Try and balance the weight with the bags and carry a bag in each hand so that you can stay balanced. Because the balance is really going to affect your mobility, which is the second block. And we don't want that to happen, because once you lose that, then you're going to fall. And these are all the top 6 risk factors, really. So with your mobility, when you think about that, our spines, how many times when you're a toddler and you're growing up, do you fall down? You're always doing something to your spine. You're jarring your back your whole life. We need to take care of our backs and our knees, particularly, because as we get older, we get shorter and things happen to our health, and it's just a natural aging progress. So we need to get on that now. Another one is medications. Most people I talk to take at least 4, 5, 6 medications. So you need to be mindful about when you're taking your medications. If the doctor says take it with food, there's a reason for that. It could upset your stomach. It could make you dizzy. If you start getting dizzy or just not feeling well, then that puts you at a risk for falling. Other health conditions, such as low blood pressure, as I mentioned earlier. People with low blood pressure, it's almost the same as someone that's diabetic with low blood sugar. Everything seems to go off. You're not thinking right. You're not clear on things. And it's quite easy to miss a step or to trip over something because you're just not all there until you get food. Your food is your fuel for your body. So that's one of the most important things that we need to do, is make sure we eat. Sensory deficits. So a sensory deficit could be anything from your hearing to your eyesight. Vertigo, people that have vertigo have a lot of difficulty. If you jump up, if you get up too quickly in the morning, I don't think there's anywhere we have to be so urgently in the morning. Get up nice and slow, sit up, put your feet over the side of the bed, make sure your body is stable and balanced, and then get off the bed. I know it's hard sometimes if we're in a hurry, but you will save yourself from falling if you just do that one little trick in the morning. And home hazards, such as slippery bathtubs, floor rugs. I have a whole page on home hazards that we're going to go through. And there's a lot of information in your community on home hazards as well. Any of the public health units, so I'm not sure where everyone's from, but Simcoe Muskoka Public Health Unit, York Region Public Health Unit, you can go on their websites and you can actually order pamphlets, and they go room by room and show you all the different hazards in each room. So if you want some homework, I suggest you do that. Normally when I'm in person, I hand those out, but for today, I can't. I would love to, because they're very, very helpful. So one other thing too is chronic disease. Chronic disease, a cognitive impairment such as Alzheimer's or dementia, makes a person 54% at higher risk of falling. COPD, which I mentioned earlier, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, asthma, emphysema, SOB, it's not a swear word, it's shortness of breath, 42% higher. Diabetes, type 1 or type 2, doesn't matter, 30% higher. Heart conditions, congestive heart failure, high blood pressure, 29% higher. So if you have any of those risk factors that we spoke about, plus a chronic illness, then you need to be very mindful of falls and how you can prevent falls. And hospital stays. Seniors who fell and were admitted to hospital spent an average of approximately 3 weeks, 22 days in the hospital. Can you imagine eating hospital food for 22 days? So to put this into perspective, seniors admitted for any cause spend an average of 12 days longer in the hospital as a result of a fall. And as I mentioned earlier, long-term care, being admitted to long-term care, a lot of that is because of falls. So the average length of a stay resulting from a fall among seniors is 10 days longer than any other reason for someone being admitted to the hospital. So what can we do? We can take care of our bodies. Are you exercising? I'm not saying that you need to go out and join a gym and start doing all these great exercises and bodybuilding. Light exercise, half-hour a day, maybe 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon. It's very important to prevent falls by increasing your activity levels. Go for a short walk, go to the mailbox and back, maybe do it twice a day. Fishing, gardening, Tai Chi is very, very good for balance. And whatever you enjoy, something you enjoy. There's walking sticks, there's walking groups all over. Most of the community centers have walking groups that you can go to. Use a walking aid to help if you need it. And I say, remember, no plunking. So plunking is when you go into your living room and you plunk yourself down on your couch. That's not good for your body, and especially is not good for your spine. So gently get on and off the furniture as well. Take care of your eyesight. When was the last time you had your eyes checked? I do realize at the moment there's a bit of a strike going on for people over 65. I don't think that the optometrists are doing checks right now, but I'm sure they'll get back to it soon. They'll get that resolved. So if you're over 65, have your vision checked every year or more frequently if your doctor recommends it. And a lot of times too, people have difficulty in the evening. I don't drive very well at night. I don't do well with bright lights and things like that. So if that's not a good time for you, then try not to drive in the evening, or see if you can get someone to go with you if you really have to go somewhere. Take care of your home. Is clutter putting you at risk? If you have clutter on your floors or stairs, it can make it more difficult to stay on your feet. Make sure there's no cords or scattered rugs, pets' toys, or pets. I personally have a 120-pound dog who is so light on his feet, I never know he's there, and I can't even tell you how many times I've nearly tripped over him. And stairs, are your stairs safe? Are they lit, inside, outside? Do you have a switch at the top and the bottom? Handrails. A lot of people, especially now with the basements, they're starting to put 2 handrails, one on each side. There's no harm doing that, and it's easier to get up and down the stairs, especially as we get older. And there's no hurry to run up and down the stairs. And you can also get the contrast strips too to put on the stairs. They're quite helpful. Or do like me, I carpeted my stairs just to be on the safe side. So have a look at this picture and see how many risk factors for falls that you can find. If anybody wants to unmute and jump in and pick a couple, that's fine. I'm happy to hear it. Then I'm not the only one talking. I'll give it a second if anybody wants to jump in. Okay, we have a shy group tonight. No problem. Well, we shouldn't be leaving things on the stairs. There's a lot of scattered rugs to trip over. Maybe the house coat that lady's wearing is a little bit too long and it doesn't look like she has slippers on. The cord from the iron, the newspaper, the dishes on the floor, it looks like the cat dishes. Just in general, there's a lot of things hanging around that are a tripping hazard, particularly cords. And the cat. How many times do people see their cat just laying on the stairs? Well, if you're going up the stairs at night and you have a dark colored cat, you may not see that cat and trip. So we always have to be mindful. Now, are you taking care of your health? It's important to properly manage your health issues. Some medications, as I mentioned earlier, can cause dizziness on their own or when they're mixed with others. Always take your medications as directed, and if you're taking more than 2, ask your pharmacist to review them for you. The pharmacist is the expert on medications. I know that Shoppers Drug Mart for sure, Guardian and Rexall, they all do regular med checks. And if they don't, you can ask them to do it because I believe they get some funding to make sure that they're checking people's medications. And also let them know what vitamins you're taking. A lot of vitamins don't work well with medications. So it's always good to get that checked to make sure that that mix is okay for your particular condition that you're taking it for. And avoid mixing alcohol with prescription medications. So don't go out and have a beer and pop an Advil or a Tylenol or a glass of wine. They just don't mix. And you're going to be off balance. And then what's going to happen? You're going to fall. So how about your diet? Everybody's always telling us what to do, what to eat. Eat this, eat that. We're just talking about your bone health today and your body, and so that we can help you not fall. I'm not a doctor. I just have a little bit of advice that I'm getting from the community and public health just to help you along here. So vitamin D and calcium, they keep your bones strong. Calcium is in salmon, spinach, plantains, and sesame seeds. Silica is also for bone health, and it's in celery, cucumber, wild asparagus, and horsetail. Vitamin D is in salmon, egg yolks, and sunshine. You may want to talk to your doctor about supplements as well. With the sunshine, a lot of people say to me, oh, well, I sit in the sun all the time. I'm getting my vitamin D. And my response to that is, are you putting on suntan lotion? Well, of course I am, because I don't want to get skin cancer. Then you're not absorbing the vitamin D from the sun because you're blocking it with the lotion. Now, I'm not telling you not to wear lotion. Please wear lotion. It's just an example to show that you're really not getting vitamin D from the sun. Excuse me. So according to Osteoporosis Canada, people over 50 should be taking between 800 and 2,000 IUs of vitamin D per day. Now, again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not telling you to take that much vitamin D, but when you get your meds checked done, ask your doctor how much is appropriate for you before you start taking vitamin D or any other vitamin. It's always good to check. Now, fall alert systems, benefits of a fall alert system. So usually that's something that you wear around your neck and you push a button, an alert goes to the phone, and someone comes on and asks you how you are. So they can prevent long lie times after a fall. Because they're communicating with you, they're communicating with you right away. If you don't answer, if they say, Judy, are you okay? I just got an alert that you had a fall. You say, yep, I'm fine. That's fantastic. If you don't answer, they're going to call someone. They're going to call your first emergency contact and your second emergency contact. If they do not get a response, they will call the paramedics and get them to come to the house. Very important for people that live alone, high risk of falling. It's a great thing to get someone for Christmas if you want, as a gift. Gives you peace of mind. It gives your family peace of mind, just at the push of a button. And there's a lot of different systems out there. I'm not a proponent of saying buy this one or buy that one, but if you want information later on, I can send you a few different organizations that you can get them from. And then your family's not as worried, particularly if you're living on your own and your family's not close enough to come and get you. So how they work. You push the button anytime, 24/7, there is a response center. There's always someone that's going to answer the phone. An associate will assess what's going on with you, talk to you, and make sure you're okay. They're not going to just call someone to come. They want to make sure that they get that from you, because we know our bodies. We know what's going on. We're quite aware. We don't want someone just showing up at our doors. So as long as you feel okay, then they'll just say that's fine. And they'll more than likely call you back in a couple of hours just to make sure that you are still okay. So here's a lot of simple tips I'm going to give you to keep in mind. Keep moving. Remember that old saying, if you don't move it, you lose it? Well, it's true. We do. Gentle exercise, walking, maybe walking in water. You don't have to go out and do water aerobics, which is actually fantastic for you, but even just walking, Tai Chi, anything to improve strength and balance and coordination. One of the reasons I stress that is because, and I'll give you that example of my broken foot. I really learned that I needed upper body strength because I lived on a chair for 6 weeks. So I had to be able to lift my body in and out of that chair. I had to be able to lift myself up to the counter, lift myself up to the sink in the washroom. And I realized afterwards that I'd actually built up muscle strength in my body. So now I just take soup cans and I do a little bit of exercise with soup cans, because if you fall down and you can't get up, or you can't crawl to a piece of furniture, it's likely because you're weak in your upper body. So simple exercises to help that are a really good idea. Sensible shoes. Get rid of the high heels and the floppy slippers. They're not helping you. Stop walking in your stocking feet, especially up and down stairs that don't have carpets. Why put ourselves in that position where we know we're at a higher risk of falling because we're wearing stockings? If you wear slippers, if they have those little skid-free things on the bottom of them, I don't know what they're called, they're pretty good. We give them to our granddaughter. She wears them. She walks quite well in them. So I have some for myself as well. Get a sturdy shoe. Pay a little bit extra money for your shoes because you're on your feet your entire life. So your feet deserve a break. And get the non-skid soles for sure. Remove the home hazards. We saw those home hazards. I'm hoping nobody has that many in their house. Secure your loose rugs, your high traffic areas. Use a non-slip mat in the bathtub. Put one in the bathtub. Have them when you come out of the bathtub. Anything that you can do to reduce falling. More tips. Night lights. How many people go to the washroom in the middle of the night over the age of 65? I guess a lot of people. You really should have a night light, especially if you have to walk down a hallway in the dark and you have a cap that you might trip over. So keep it a little night light going. Put one by your bedstand if you need it, or your cell phone, something where you know there's going to be light if you need it in a hurry. You can go to the dollar store and they have these little tiny flashlights. Put one of those beside your bed. Take it with you if you have to. Use assisted devices. Doesn't mean you have to run out and buy assisted devices, but if you're fearing falling, maybe get a couple of assisted devices put in. Handrails on both sides of the stairs, a raised toilet seat. If you have bad knees, a raised toilet seat is really good. They have them with arms, without arms. Get a grab bar put in your shower or your tub. If you are going to get a grab bar installed, I would suggest that you have it done by a professional, because they have to find the studs in the walls to drill it into. Otherwise, it's going to be unsafe. Your kitchen. We spend a lot of time in our kitchens. Store your kitchen supplies, your pots and pans, where you can reach them. One of the things that I've done, and I've done this with other people as well, is instead of climbing on a chair to go to that top cupboard, take everything you need and put it on the first 2 levels, and put everything you don't need up on the top one. And if you do need something out of it, ask somebody to get it for you. Then you're not climbing. If you do have to get a step stool, get a really sturdy one with rubber feet. Rubbermaid, I believe, makes some really nice ones, just a 2-step one. Make sure that you're safe when you climb up on it. We don't need to be up on ladders to do things. And wipe up spills right away. I know for myself, I get really forgetful. So if I spill something on the floor and the dog needs something, I run to help the dog, I come back and guess what? I just slipped in something on the floor because I didn't pick it up right away. Just things to be mindful of. And speaking of dogs, look what that dog's doing. He's stretching. Every morning, if you get anything out of me today, please, every morning before you get up, stretch your entire body, stretch your arms, stretch your fingers, your hands, your legs, have a big stretch. And if you notice, anyone that does have pets, watch your pet because they never get up until they stretch. They always stretch, dogs and cats. Now, I love this slide, walk like a penguin, and I'm going to give you a personal example. I thought it was kind of funny, but it's actually true. I was in Montreal a couple of years ago with some friends, and we had a bit of an ice storm while I was there, and we were going shopping. When we arrived at the plaza, the ground froze. It had frozen. So when we got out of the car, we had to be really, really careful. We had pretty good boots on because I check all my friends' boots before we go out. But I said, guys, walk like a penguin. I'm going to do it first and you follow me. So you walk flat-footed and take short steps. Make sure you've got proper footwear on. Step down, not out of curb. So if you've got a curb to go over, go straight. Use your arms for balance and carry only what you can. So if you have good shoulders and you can carry a knapsack, do that. Otherwise, as I suggested earlier, get 2 bags and carry an equal amount of weight in each bag. So when I got out of the car, I told everyone to walk like a penguin, and we all walked like penguins, and we made it safely into the store, and we just took the exact same path back to the car. So true story, it does work. So how to get up from the floor after a fall. Roll over on your side, crawl over to a chair or a sturdy piece of furniture. Again, that's why we need this little bit of upper body strength. From a kneeling position, put your arms up onto the seat of the chair or Chesterfield or whatever it is you're going to climb up onto. One knee forward and place that foot on the floor, because that's what's going to get you up. Push up with your arms and legs, pivot yourself around, and sit down slowly. No plunking, sit down slowly, and have a bit of a rest before you move again, because that's pretty stressful trying to get up from a fall. And all these tips you can find on any of the public health. Just remember that whatever area you're in, you can find these. You can probably print them off of their websites. So I like to always end my presentations with something that's educational, but it's a little bit funny as well. So this is a YouTube video about a gentleman calling his mom about falls. I hope you enjoy it.
Hey, Mom. Are you on the move?
Hello, son.
Mom, you gotta be careful walking around with the laptop like that. You need to watch where you're going. I saw you almost trip on something there.
Didn't almost trip on something. I stepped over your father.
What? Is he okay? What happened?
Oh, he's fine. He tripped on the extension cord.
Should you help him?
I told him we need to get rid of those scatter rugs and extension cords. That info sheet had some great information about fall prevention.
Great. Yeah. Did Dad read it?
Obviously not.
I'm good.
Maybe get him to read it as well.
Oh, I will. I don't want either one of us to end up in hospital because of a fall. You know, it's very important to create hazard-free space. Isn't that right?
Are you sure he's okay?
He's absolutely fine. Maybe now he'll move that extension cord.
Okay, talk to you later, Mom.
See you later, sweetheart. I'm off to do some more of the exercises on this sheet. Maybe your dad will finally join me. Talk to you later, son.
Maybe this is payback for when I was a teenager.
Excellent. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Sometimes Zoom can be a little bit of a challenge. Just a teens. I hope you enjoyed that video. It's always nice to have a little bit of a visual going on. I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks, and do seek some further information. If you wish it, please feel free to contact me. Our wish at Chats for you is to be falls free. And I believe that's the end of my presentation.
And no worries about the technical difficulties. It's not a problem at all. I want to thank everyone for joining this evening. We did actually have, we don't have any questions, but when you did ask about that one scene, Linda, someone had mentioned, Mary had mentioned that that you saw cats, pet bulls, the sunken floor, that there was water under the sink, shoes and things on the steps. And so that's
Yes.
quite the list of items for sure.
Now, that's very observant too. Because a lot of times, you know, we're always in a hurry to try and do things, and always leaving things on the stairs is just so important, especially as we age, just to be more aware of our surroundings. Anything that we can do to stay out of the hospital, for sure, as the lady said in the video, let's give it a shot. I put up my information. If anyone has any questions, feel free to send me an email, and I thank you very, very much for having me here today.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Linda. And thank you to everyone for joining this evening. I do encourage you to check out the Caregiving Matters website. The recording of this session will be there in a few days. And of course, you can check all of the other webinars that we have listed there as well. So thank you and have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Thank you, Linda. Bye.